Yep, so we're going to have a summer house going in, and we're just digging the holes for the pad stones. They're about, I'm not even sure what they are. They're bucket wide. Anyway, so we've got 6 of those concrete pad stones going in, and then I'm going to be laying blocks to make piers ready for the 8x2 timbers to sit on. We're just going to start concreting and go from there. So we got the pad stones done. We've got 6 in total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From there, I'll be laying the concrete blocks. I'll be laying them flats. They'll be 100mm, and I'm laying them double wide. That'll create the piles. Ready to put the 8x2 timber frame on for the decking, for the floor, and then we go from there. Yes, you see there, you can see the concrete block piers I made, and then we got 8x2, which created the floor joist. Basically, it's all old rubbish. I tried to use as much rubbish as I could. I had the old blocks left over anyway, and they're not dear to buy anyway. I had to buy the 8x2s, and you see there, and the 4x2s for the framework to build the carcass. Then you see where you got the ply, the 80mm ply base. That's old hoarding ply, what you see around building sites. I was getting for about 5-6 quid a sheet, so it's really cheap. So I put that all the way around the perimeter. Unfortunately, I've run out on the roof, so I've had to buy some ply from the roof. So I got some 12mm ply from the roof, and I think I just used shuttering ply for up there. And on the inside, I'm going to have to use really good ply. Here's another angle. You can see the old patio doors that I used as well. Yeah, so the bifolds I used there, they're basically off my old, one was off the front room, and the other one was off the old conservatory. They're brown. We painted them black now as well, which I'm going to show in other videos. It's really, really cheap, really, really effective. And the side door I've used as well, which you can just see right in the right hand corner. That was our old kitchen door. But yeah, using as much rubbish as I could. Unfortunately, some of it you have to buy, or you got to buy full price, but that is what it is. The idea is to make this as cheap as possible and do it as cheaply as possible. We've also wrapped, in a moment you'll see us wrap this with vapor barrier. Basically, it's like what I use on roofing sheets. In this video here, you can see the carcass and the sheets going up. As you can see there, I had to use a couple of new ones. There you can see the membrane. Okay, it's waterproof in it, but it's breathable as well. Yeah, so basically once we put the 80mm ply on the outside perimeter, and then the 12mm ply on the roof, it is coated with this membrane, so it's waterproof it all the way around, which is really cool. So here you can see the outside, which we cladded in steel box section, box sheets basically, in black, and obviously we painted the bifolds black. I'm going to do another video on this because I'll show you how we fixed it up, and do it closer, and I'll have a little walk around so you guys can get a better idea of how it looks. So here you can see the 4-metre voltage ceilings, and with the struts running across horizontally at different levels, create different levels for climbing. Mezzanine floor and the wiring. You see the stud work there, and you can see where we've just started insulating. Also, I put 2 steel beams in because I've got 2 sets of 3-metre bifolds going in. So we've got 8x4 sheets here, 18mm ply, and you see I've just chalk lined the grid on there all around the border here where my finger is. It starts off with a 4-inch border, okay, and then you've got 8-inch all the way along, okay. And the idea is every cross point here I'm going to drill a hole. This with a 12mm hole, and then I'm going to put a nut in, and this is going to be going on the walls and the ceilings, ready for the rock climbing holds. And the idea is when you butt the next sheet up, which has got a 4-inch gap, it will then become an 8-inch square. And what do I mean by that? I'll show you here. If you can see on this, you see the wall I've started doing along here. Okay, so as an example, you got the 4-inch border, But then you got the 4-inch board this side, so you basically got an 8-inch gap there. And it's 8-inch all the way around, pretty much. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way. You see, I've done along that wall. It's going all along here, all up on the ceiling. Okay, all around the ceiling. I'll put a bit more insulation in there, yeah, and so forth. And I don't know if you can see on the back end of them, we put a nut in. I'll show you the nuts, which are here. Okay, so this is the type of nut. So this goes in from behind. So the idea is basically it's being pulled. So you got the rock hold. This here is behind the timber. The rock hold goes on here, the rock climbing hold, and then so as you tighten it up, it's being pulled through, so it can't fall out. So you're not screwing in from the front, basically. It's being wedged from the back. Yeah. So basically now I'm going to drill these. I've got these 3 panels. One's going to go up on this angle, one either side on the wall, and then we'll start working on the ceiling and so forth. Yeah, just want to say as well, obviously I've clamped them together there, as you can see, just so they don't move around when I'm drilling. I've only got 3 together here. Obviously if you can do a few at a time, it's better for time. Obviously you've got to keep chalk lining each individual one, but I only need 3 over on that back wall there at this size, 8x4s. So I've done 3. Obviously on that wall there we've done 4, because it's a 16-foot span to the rock climbing, and then I've got plasterboard there because this is going to be a hard floor. This is not going to be a climbing area. But so I've done all 4 of those together, clamped them together and done them. So you're just drilling once, marking out once, and so forth. Obviously I only need 3 at this size now, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll do my individual cuts. I've got a couple of 2-foot pieces, I think it is, or 1.5-foot pieces going down either side. So I'll do them, measure them out, and we'll be the same. There you go. So I've just drilled all the holes. I think there's 72 holes on a board on that grid, with a 4-inch border and 8-inch centres after that, I guess. I used a 12mm drill bit. I'd recommend, if you're pushing, when you're drilling, don't push too hard, because this is going to be the front, which is cool. The back, obviously you don't want to push and split the timber at the back, or splinter the timber at the back, should I say. If I sweep off here now, you see it's pretty clean. This is where the rock holes are going to be. So now I'm going to sweep this off, turn it over, reverse it over. So I've got the back end. I'm going to whack them nuts in, and then I'm going to put it up the same as we put that up there. Yeah, it's a nice space. I've got a 16-foot going down that flank now. I'm going to have the same going across the roof here, and I've created some other little bits just to create some angles, different little angles there, so it's a little bit harder. It's not just all vertical. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'll show you on the next bit. Okay, so you can see I've just banged all these nuts in, and this is the back end. So they got like a spike in, they can't turn. So as you tighten them up, they can't turn, and then I guess it's almost like a washer type effect as it gets pulled tight from the front. This is the board sandwiched in between the back of this nut here and the bolt at the front with the rock hold. I've got to say, it's a laborious job. There's 72 on a sheet, depends how many sheets you're doing. It's boring, but hey ho, there you go. So I needed to transfer, basically I've got this panel with the holes cut. I need to transfer them holes onto another piece of timber on the other side. So that's going to be on the other side of this, because basically they mirror each other. It's pretty much the same. One goes there, and one will go on this side. So I had the holes cut on one. Really, I should have cut the 2 pieces of timber and put them on top and drilled the holes, but I didn't. Anyway, so I haven't got a pen that's thin enough to go through, or a pencil. My marker's too thick, so all I've done, you notice I've just put some screws. If you put the screws flat end down like that, and then I'm going to lift this piece of timber off, where the screws are, replaced with a marker. It saves if you haven't got a pen. Obviously, if you've got a pen, it'd be easier. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it this way. So now you see I've lifted the this piece of timber off here, and I'm left with the screws. I'll just come along now with a marker and mark that. As you see, it's pretty much bang in line with the screws, so it saved me having to go down the road and get a small pencil or thinner pen. So here you can see various stages of the bouldering walls going up with the holes in, ready for the rock climbing holds and the different angles. Yeah, it was a laborious job, but it'd be worth it in the end. Here you can see where it's pretty much finished. It's got to be filled and painted and so forth. But the angles on the right hand side and the rear wall for the rock climbing. Then on the bottom we're going to have 40mm mats to do it, so we can do our grappling for jiu-jitsu and grappling and MMA and so forth. We've got a punch bag going up, and at this end, which you can't see, there's a mezzanine floor for storage, and also we're going to have a hard area there for, we've got a spin bike and some weights and bits and bobs like that. There'll be a TV going up. It's going to be quite simple. It's 8 lights, a couple of heaters, a rounds timer, so you can time how long you want to spar or train or do whatever you want to do. Yeah, and some weights. It'll be really, really cool, but I'll show those in the next videos.